Now at 9, the man convicted in deaths of 2 girls from Welch, Oklahoma is set to be released from prison. Plus, we'll hear about a multi-million-dollar project to expand Kansas Highway 7 in Crawford County. And the Crawford County Historical Museum gives people a chance to enjoy the Wild West with Cowboy Days.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. The man sentenced for the disappearance of 2 girls from Welch, Oklahoma is set to be freed from prison. Our own Cale Chapman joins us in studio now with more.
Thanks, Jalen. In 2020, Ronnie Busick pleaded guilty to the disappearance of Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman. According to the Oklahoma Department of Corrections, Busick is to be released on May 19th of this year. Busick was sentenced to 10 years in prison with 5 years of probation. He pleaded guilty to accessory to murder for the disappearance of the girls and the deaths of Danny and Kathy Freeman in Welch, Oklahoma. Busick was one of 3 individuals accused of the 1999 murder case and was originally charged in 2018. Kate Thompson, the Oklahoma Department of Corrections acting chief of communication, has told KOAM that Busick got credit for time served for his 3 years in county jail and that he also got credit at an accelerated rate.
That's been our one from day one. We're going to find the girls. Do whatever it needs, whatever we have to do, how long we have to wait. I mean, we've waited 23 years to get this far.
Has 5 years probation and will have 1 year under suspension. For more updates on this story, follow along on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Back to you, James.
Thank you, Cal. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announced that her administration's bipartisan transportation plan has committed more than $297 million to construct 8 expansions and modernization highway projects in eastern Kansas. KOAM Shagun Bomdali has more.
The projects include the development of a divergent diamond interchange at US 40 Kansas Highway 10, close to Lawrence, and widening the shoulders of a certain section of State Highway 7 in Crawford County.
Is when the trucking companies or the individual truckers, when they try to get a route to go, Google Maps actually send them on Highway 7 instead of sending them down 69, which has really created a problem because, again, it is a very narrow highway with no shoulders.
Moody says there will be a benefit to widening Highway 7.
Well, the benefit of widening is there's no shoulders on the road right now. If they widen it, it will, it'll give the traffic, avenue to get over a bit instead of just, getting off and trying to overcorrect. And that's when you see a lot of the rollovers occur.
A local tow truck driver says in 5 years, he has seen numerous turnovers due to the narrow highway.
Wise, when you get out on the highway, you don't have any room to work with semis going by you on a 2-lane narrow road. It is dangerous, and for the state workers and guys mowing the grass and stuff like that, there's, expanding that would help out tremendously.
Diskin says he has almost got hit while working.
You can feel your shirt getting sucked into them because they don't slow down, or there's just that much. And there's a lot of hills from here to Fort Scott, so you get in between 2 hills and you got semis coming. It can get pretty scary.
Reporting in Gerard, Shagbamdele, KOAM News.
Representatives from KDOT will be in Crawford County on May 5th to discuss the widening of highways with no shoulders. Park Elementary students in Columbus, Kansas last month took part in a trike-a-thon and a walk-a-thon to raise money for St. Jude Children's Hospital. It's all in memory of a young boy named Dylan who lost his battle with cancer. Dylan's mom teaches at the school. Today, the school held an assembly to announce they raised more than $7,000 this year.
I just went out and I work, so my work is what I do. I bought presents, and it's in memory of my son. His birthday would be tomorrow. He'd be 30 years old tomorrow, so instead of buying him presents, I bought all the kids presents.
Dylan's family has raised more than $100,000 for St. Jude over the past 9 years. Folks in Crawford County got a chance to go back in time. The Crawford County Historical Museum is hosting Cowboy Days. It's a 2-day event. Today, they had a campfire night. It featured cowboys singing and poetry all around an evening campfire.
Some of us just don't want to give it up. I actually still rope and drag calves and open fire and brand them every year, and a lot of the guys here, you know, they're still cowboys at heart, no matter whether it is 2023 or not. And we still love to ride horses. We still love music, and just to get together.
The event will continue tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And now to weather, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us.
Well, another kind of dreary day, but at least a little bit of rain. It's so very light, but we'll take whatever we can get. 62 started at 44. 72 is where we should be topping out, so about 10 degrees below the norm. And we do still have these light rain showers pushing through it. It's been overall very light across the region, but still, we have these showers out here. Most of the concentration, Pittsburgh south, not too much north of that point. And as we go through the rest of the overnight hours, these showers slowly just kind of dry up and will be gone pretty much by the time you wake up in the morning. We are going to start with some clouds, but we will get some sunshine in the afternoon. We're dropping back into the mid 50s. As we speak, we'll drop upper 40s a little bit later on tonight. Of course, we're going to look at your weekend coming up here in just a bit.
The U.S. is preparing for an influx of migrants once the Title 42 COVID policy is lifted in 2 weeks. House Republicans, who repeatedly attacked the Biden administration on immigration policies, are targeting the problem by moving forward with a new border security reform proposal. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy has more from Brownsville, Texas.
We are going to be prepared for a large influx.
Border Patrol agents are making plans to deal with a potential migrant surge at the border when Title 42 expires on May 11th. The pandemic-era measure has allowed the U.S. to turn back more than 2 million migrants.
I think there's an opportunity for us to bring a package that is certainly going to help secure the border and also protect people.
Now House Republicans are laying out a sweeping new border security package to address the spiking immigration numbers. The GOP plan will resume construction of President Trump's signature border wall and would reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, which forced asylum seekers to wait outside the U.S. or in detention centers while their claims are processed.
House Republicans are fed up, and House Republicans are taking action.
Leaders intend to bring the bill for a vote on the House floor in May, but it will likely go nowhere in the Democrat-led Senate. Democrats in Congress are already raising alarms, saying the border package is overreaching.
Republicans are delusional because they don't seem to accept the fact that immigrants are a driver of our economy, one, and two, we've always been a nation that showed love to asylum seekers.
The Biden administration announced its own plan on Thursday. It involves more rapid deportations and establishes regional processing centers in Latin America.
These centers will be opening up in several countries, including Colombia and Guatemala.
Resources are already stretched thin across the border, including here in Brownsville, where thousands of migrants have arrived illegally this week, ahead of the end of Title 42. Reporting in Brownsville, Texas, I'm Nate Foy, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll hear from some health experts on why your allergies may be at its worst this year. It's allergy season. For many, that means a runny nose, itchy eyes, sore throat. And if you feel like your allergies are getting worse, well, there's a reason for that. Fox News multimedia reporter Madison Scarpino joins us from Memphis, Tennessee to explain.
Doctors are saying because of recent milder winters, allergies are coming on early and in full force. Some people are getting seasonal allergies for the first time, and others who already suffer from allergy symptoms are just suffering even more.
From sniffles to itchy eyes, yeah, it's never a dull moment with allergies. The initial wave of pollen has already hit, but I know as soon as I see it, that's when it's time to make sure I got my allergy pills next to the bedstand, can't forget.
Allergists say pollen counts started to soar very early this season. From California all the way to New York, high levels of grass and tree pollen are causing a lot of discomfort and severe allergy symptoms. Doctors are seeing patients really complaining about these intense symptoms that don't typically get bad until May most years. If you have allergies, it's of course especially important now to stay on top of medication, but also avoid being outside as much as possible.
When it's particularly windy outside and you know that more pollen will be spread around the air, I think staying indoors is key. As hard as it is to miss out on those beautiful days outdoors, really you don't want to pay the price. I've seen patients who've spent prolonged times outdoors, and then the next day they're really miserable in exchange for just a few minutes of time outside.
It's also helpful to wash pollen from your clothes, your hair, your face. And you may think that pollen season ends once summer comes around, but it's actually here until the first frost of the fall. In Memphis, Tennessee, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
The American Heart Association has named the DASH diet as the best for your heart health. DASH stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. It aligned 100% with the AHA's goals for heart-healthy eating. The pescatarian diet, which allows for dairy, eggs, fish, and other seafood, came in second with 92%. And the award-winning Mediterranean diet aligned at 89%. It came in third mostly because it recommends a small glass of red wine and doesn't limit salt. Scientists have successfully engineered a way to extend the lifespan of cells in an effort to slow the aging process. Researchers at the University of California, San Diego genetically rewired the circuit that controls aging in yeast cells, leading to an 82% increase in lifespan. The team is now expanding the research to human cells. And Doug is back with a complete look at the forecast, and later we'll meet a Southwest Kansas high school senior who's already been a powerlifting national champion 3 times.
Well, it's been a little wet out there. We've had some light showers throughout the afternoon into the evening hours, and you can see some of the roads are wet. So we're looking at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. The roads are wet and just outside of Seneca, Missouri. And we are going to have some wet roads throughout the overnight hours tonight, so be careful if you are going to be out. But all these showers are mainly just fairly light. All right, temperatures for us today. Over the past several hours, we've dropped out of the 60s. We're into the 50s, 57 in Greenfield, Afton 55, Parsons is sitting at 54. We can go out 7th and Rangeline sitting at 56, west, northwesterly winds at about 5 to 10. And again, we do have those light scattered showers, which are going to stick around the next several hours. Eventually, we'll drop down to about 48 later on tonight. Look at the rain pushing through the region, much lighter in our northern counties. Most of this is kind of midway through the 4-state area and south. Now, where you see the yellows popping up, that is where we are getting some decent showers. All the green, though, is very, very light across the region. Let's zoom in. A little shower just on the south side of Pittsburgh, a gap of nothing through the northern half of Joplin. Then it picks up again once you get toward Neosho, Seneca, over toward Miami. So we are getting some scattered showers out there, a few just south of Parsons, over toward Coffeyville, and then a few pushing in to McDonald County as well. All the bigger guys have stayed south. The bigger thunderstorms down through parts of Texas as this wave continues to push through. So you can see our upper level winds right out of Canada, and due to that, that's why we've been so cool over the past couple days, and we can't get any big storm systems in because we got this big dome of high pressure. This will start to break down next week, and that will get us warming up and then back into well, the way May should be with thunderstorms and severe threats. All right, rain chances high next several hours. Start to dip off 3 a.m. Pretty much gone by 6 o'clock in the morning. So let's step through the night. Scattered light showers breaking up. We are going to start the day with clouds, but we'll break out and see sunshine. So by noon, we should have mostly sunny skies, lower 60s, and then get up into the mid to upper 60s for afternoon highs. So a pretty good day. Tomorrow night, we have another little front that drops through. So a little bit colder, lower 40s for overnight lows, a little cooler on Sunday, still nice. High temps most likely 64 to about 65 degrees. All right, additional rainfall, very light, not much. Most of us are going to be under 1/10 of an inch, but it's better than nothing. Day planner for you tomorrow, 9 a.m., 53, 64 by 1 into the upper 60s during the afternoon, which is pretty good. Saturday overall looks nice. 67 tomorrow, 64 on Sunday. We warm into the 70s by Tuesday. Thunderstorm chances and a severe threat return Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We've already had 9 severe weather events. This is our first week in quite some time. We haven't had any severe weather, so a nice little severe weather break, but those chances return next week.
Yeah, and then yesterday we crossed our fingers hoping for some more heavy rain, and it seems as if we're getting it.
It's been light, but it's brain.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Doug. Coming up, inflation back on the rise.
The Fed's preferred measure of inflation not cooperating with economists' expectations. I'm Grady Trimble on Capitol Hill. I'll have the full story coming up.
More evidence showing the Fed has to do more in its fight against runaway prices. Fox Business correspondent Grady Trimble has more from Capitol Hill.
High inflation underscored by grim financial data Friday, a key index of inflation that the Federal Reserve closely follows not performing as they'd like. The core personal consumption expenditures, or PCE price index, rose 4.6% from a year earlier, far above the Fed's 2% target. This index can account for changes in how people shop when inflation jumps. It can also capture when consumers shift away from pricey brands in favor of less expensive generic brands.
Definitely have made adjustments, to make it work. I think I am adaptable, and also I'm working with a budget.
Many customers say they gauge inflation based on the price of their groceries, and the PCE index showed that food prices dropped 0.2% from February to March.
I've definitely noticed that there is a steep rise a little bit a while ago, but I've honestly been noticed the prices going down a little bit recently with certain items. I need to eat, right? And I'm going to eat every day. And so whatever the cost is, I'm paying it.
Underlying inflation pressures could see the Federal Reserve raising interest rates again next week.
This is the path we don't want to be on. What we're barreling toward is what they call stagflation, maybe worse.
Consumer spending didn't change in March, but that data won't do much to ease the Fed's fears. On Capitol Hill, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
Consumers battled by grocery inflation may catch a breather on the key staple item. According to a report, wholesale egg prices may drop to $1 a dozen soon. It would mark the first time since July of 2021. Wholesale prices are what retailers pay distributors. The report says business experts are not sure if the potential cost savings will translate to what consumers are paying for eggs. Consumer retailers might market eggs at a lower price to bring in more shoppers, while others might choose to keep prices the same or increase them to make up for any financial losses. A pledge by President Joe Biden to help student loan borrowers could be scuttled under by a new bill. The debt limit bill passed by House Republicans on Wednesday would cancel President Biden's student loan proposals. The administration wants to cancel up to $20,000 of student loan for some borrowers. That bill would also lift the pandemic pause on student loan payments. Republicans say the bill is a victory for taxpayers. Democrats say failure of loan forgiveness would hurt the economy. President Biden has threatened to veto the bill if it passes the Senate. Up next, Uber released its annual Lost and Found list. We'll take a look at some interesting items people left behind. Instead of spending time at home looking for those lost keys, you may want to call your previous Uber driver. The rideshare company releasing its 7th annual Uber Lost and Found Index. It's a collection of common items riders leave behind. Some of the items may seem commonplace, such as phones, clothing, wallets, jewelry, and others, but things such as fake blood, a lightsaber, or a dog may have you a bit stunned. The company says there's also been an uptick in eggs getting left behind. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Anti-abortion advocates hold their first March for Life since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Plus, the state of Oklahoma offering bonuses to attract new teachers. Anti-abortion advocates from around the Midwest gathered at the Missouri State Capitol on Wednesday for the 14th annual March for Life. The rally was the first since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Reporter Sierra Tate has more.
Life advocates gathered around the Missouri State Capitol for the 14th annual March for Life rally, along with life-affirming organizations from the Midwest.
Here in post-Roe America, our message is that women and families need to hear about options and resources. We're still there for women facing unexpected pregnancies.
Lauren Muzica, president of Sidewalk Advocates for Life and one of the dozen speakers at the rally, encouraged the public to work to end abortions. Nearly 60 pro-life organizations were also in attendance to provide resources outside of abortion.
We gather together as pro-life organizations and we care and have compassion for the mom and the baby.
Susan Klein is the executive director of the Missouri Right to Life, a nonprofit which promotes the protection of unborn lives. And she says Missouri is a strong pro-life state, and the Midwest March for Life rally showcases that.
Missouri believes in life. We believe that everyone was created in God's image and is special because of that, and we want them to have life from conception to natural birth. We want to fight to protect that and have an environment that is conducive to that.
8 months after Kansas voters resoundingly rejected an anti-abortion constitutional amendment, the Republican-led Kansas legislature enacted a slew of anti-abortion laws, overriding the vetoes of Governor Laura Kelly. The new laws require physicians to render care to infants born alive and tell patients medically disputed information about the reversibility of medication abortions, while sending taxpayer money to anti-abortion counseling centers. Oklahoma is trying to entice new teachers. A new signing bonus program will offer teachers up to $50,000 to work 5 years in Oklahoma early elementary and special education classrooms next school year. State School Superintendent Ryan Walters says the signing bonuses will draw teachers from other states and job sectors to alleviate Oklahoma's teacher shortage, particularly in rural areas and high poverty schools. Springtime means it's time to work on those gardens, and students at Rocky Comfort Elementary in McDonald County, Missouri are giving you a chance to get a head start. The students today host their annual plant sale. Back in March, they planted 10,000 seedlings. Since then, the students have been watering, pruning, and tending the plants to get them ready for the big day.
It goes into a student activity account. Our goal is to always make our money back. We've surpassed that goal the last 3 years. And so it goes for everything that we would use for student activities, field trips, technology, our 8th grade promotion, 8th grade field trip.
The sale continues tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The funds raised go back to the school-run greenhouse and other programs. Officials with Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College also did some planting today. NEO planted a memorial tree in honor of Tommy Dodson. Dodson served as the chairman of the NEO Development Foundation and also graduated from the college in 1982. He passed away in January. Officials say they wanted to give Dodson a lasting legacy to recognize everything he did for the school.
Music students are very close to Tommy. He was in and around the music program, and I would say our students will have learned how to give back. Tommy was a guy that gave back of his time and of talents to the program, to the foundation as well, and his interactions with them are missed.
The tree was planted on the lawn of NEO's Commons Hall. A bit later, worries about social media's influence.
Some members of Congress are trying to restrict young people from social media. I'm Alexandria Hoff in Washington with a look at that effort coming up.
Gotta put my mic on, man. It's a Friday. All right, turned out to be a gloomy day for us today. Temperatures only into the lower 60s for afternoon highs, and we've had some light little showers across the region throughout the evening hours, which we will definitely take any rain we can get because we are way behind. In fact, this may go down as the 3rd driest April of all time. We were in the 60s. We've dropped back into the mid 50s right now. We can go outside, 7th and range line sitting at 56. West, northwesterly winds at about 5 to 10. Humidity is 77%. Eventually, we'll drop back upper 40s later on tonight. The showers, the light showers, will dry up. We'll get some sunshine back as we go through the morning hours tomorrow. All right, let's look at the radar. This is our last band of very light showers. Now, where you are seeing the yellow, it's a little heavier, but still fairly light. So we are getting some showers, Cherokee County, south of Pittsburgh, just to the east of Jasper. Not a whole bunch going on in Joplin. Once you get down through Newton, also McDonald County, some periods of showers. Ottawa County, much of the same. Once you get a little bit farther west toward Montgomery County, Coffeyville, mainly just south of Parsons. But again, these are going to last the next few hours. as this storm system rotates out of here, the bigger storms down through eastern parts of Texas. And you can see this system pushing through, but look at our jet stream. It's out of Canada. So instead of getting a severe weather event, we're getting cool showers because we have that cool Canadian air, and we didn't get the warm air mainly due to this big area of high pressure which pushed the wave into Canada and then dipped it down. So until that area of high pressure breaks down, we're not going to see any big storm systems. It will start to do that next week. All right, scattered showers taper off through the night, and then most of the weekend actually looks pretty good. You can see the showers kind of drying up. Here's 2 a.m. We'll go to 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, starting with clouds, but we break out, see sunshine late in the day, as we should go into the mid-60s for high. So Saturday overall looks good. Weak cold front tomorrow night, so a little bit colder. We drop into lower 40s. Here's 7 a.m. on Sunday. Sunday afternoon looks good, plenty of sunshine, a little bit cooler, high temps into the mid-60s. Additional rainfall tonight, very light, 1/10 of an inch at max, so we're not going to get very heavy amounts of rain. Day planner for you tomorrow, pretty good, shooting up into the upper 60s. Sunshine as we head into the afternoon hours, and then we'll start to watch our next storm systems, which will start to affect us by the middle of next week. But we are going to start to warm things up quite a bit. All right, 67 tomorrow, 64 on Sunday, 66 on Monday, 70s Tuesday and Wednesday, 80s Thursday and Friday, but thunderstorm chances Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. So it's good we got a little bit of rain. We need a whole bunch more.
But before we get that rain, we'll enjoy that.
The weekend's going to be pretty good.
That 4-day stretch or whatever. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right. Thank you, Doug.
Yep.
Sharks have a reputation for being one of the scariest fish in the sea. And Florida recently named the shark bite capital of the world. That's according to new figures which also show worldwide shark attacks are at the lowest levels in years. Last year, there were 57 unprovoked shark bites worldwide and 16 in Florida. Of all the attacks, 5 were fatal. Experts say you can minimize the risk of a shark encounter by swimming with a buddy closer to shore and avoiding the water at night. Coming up in sports, Pittsburgh State baseball looking for a comeback against Washburn, plus a highly anticipated softball matchup between Girard and Columbus. Stick around for those highlights.
Well, Girard is 9-3 overall and 7-1 in the CNC. Columbus is 13-1 and 5-1 in the CNC. On an 11-game winning streak, tonight the two teams clash for a big matchup. Columbus at home hosting Girard. This game was rained out yesterday, so we'll play it on today. Bottom of the first, no score. Katie Mooney goes opposite field, and that one goes all the way to the fence. 2 runs will come in to score for the Titans. 2-0 Columbus after a 2-run double. Love the celebration there. Later in the inning, J-Rod at the plate. Jalen Rodriguez drives this one on a rope into left field. She will be out at second, but plenty of time for Katie Mooney to score. So after the RBI single, makes it 3-0 Titans. The bottom of the fourth now, 5-0 Columbus. Taryn Billings, the swing and the drive, that rolls all the way to the fence. It's an RBI double. Columbus up 6-0. So to the top of the fifth, Girard won't go down easy yet. Bailey Toik crushes this right to the wall, stays in the park. Toik turns this into an RBI triple. Girard down 8-1 now, but a little too late for Girard. Columbus wins this one 9-5 over the Trojans. In game 2 of that doubleheader, Girard goes on for the sweep. They win it 10-5 against Columbus, and the Titans now have a 13-game winning streak. Well, the Missouri Southern Lions have made it to the final weekend of the Division II college baseball regular season. They come into tonight only 1 game behind of Central Missouri, who's in first place in the MIAA standings. Tonight, Missouri Southern is on the road in St. Joseph, taking on Missouri Western against the Griffins. Missouri Southern picks up a big win on the road. It was another offensive showcase. 4 different Lions homered in this game. Tragan Parker goes 2 for 5 with a home run, 2 RBIs. Chayton Beck with a similar stat line, 1 for 4 with a home run, 2 RBIs. Lions back at tomorrow at 1 p.m. In Pittsburgh, final homestand for the Gorillas. hosting the Washburn Inkabods. Top of the first, Pitt State down 2-1. Caden Bessler chips this one to left field. Ike Book scores 3-1 Washburn. Later in the inning, check this out. Otto Jones hits this one into the gap. Both outfielders almost collide. He's going to touch them all, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, all the way home for an inside the park 3-run home run. Ichabods up 6-1. Pitt State looking to rally now. Bottom of the 6th, down 9-2. Carson Coffey hits this deep into the gap. It's going to be a ground rule double. The base is loaded. Gorilla's down 9-4. Later in the inning, Joe Hamilton at the plate. He's going to line this shot up the middle. And that will give Pitt State within 3 runs, 9-6, but not enough for a comeback. Pitt State falls at home, losing to the Ichabods 9-6. The Southeast Kansas High School senior is now a 3-time powerlifting national champion. KOAM Sports Director Jacob Leonard introduces us to Jenny Witt. She shares her journey from a small-town kid to a national champion.
Like many Southeast Kansas kids, St. Paul's Jenny Witt grew up working on the family farm.
It taught me a lot of discipline. You know, working on a farm just shows you how to work hard.
She could throw an old 50-pound feed bag on her shoulder and carry it around, so I knew then she was pretty strong.
That strength soon became evident to more than just her family.
When she was in 8th grade, she went to summer weights, and at the end of weights, the coach came up to me and said, "Your daughter's pretty strong. You need to take her to some weightlifting meets."
That's exactly what her parents did.
When we first started, it didn't really matter how much weight we put on the bar, she lifted it.
And it has paid off.
Here I have my national medal from this year and my national medal from last year and my national medals from 2021.
Earlier this month, Witt won her 3rd consecutive powerlifting national championship to finish her high school career. She leaves St. Paul with 3 national titles, 3 state championships, and 12 state records in 3 different weight classes.
A lot of joy and a lot of thankfulness to everybody who's helped me get to where I am, and I'm very grateful for all the opportunities that I've had.
But even more impressive than all of her medals and trophies is the balancing act that it took to make it all happen.
I am in softball and track, and then powerlifting technically. It kind of goes through the winter and spring seasons. During the winter I played volleyball, I did cheer, and then a dance club as well.
She's been very disciplined on that and kind of sets her own schedule, and in early years there was some 6 o'clock in the morning workouts, you know, out in our loft in the shed.
It is hard, very hard. It's all worth it in the end because, you know, it's things that I love to do, and so you make time for the things you love to do.
And Witt will continue her powerlifting career after high school in Wichita at Friends University. And also another stat I want to give to you, Missouri Southern Baseball set a program record for the 98th and 99th runs scored this season, so a lot of runs for the Lions this year.
Man, and the way that they've been playing throughout the season, it's probably not slowing down anytime soon.
No, absolutely not. So,
all right.
Still 2 more games left.
Absolutely. All right, sounds good. We're back with more after this. A bipartisan group of senators is trying to establish a new national minimum wage for social media use. It's one of the latest efforts by Congress to try to curb the damaging effects of these online platforms, particularly on kids and teens. Fox's Alexandria Hoff reports from Washington.
Nothing is more satisfying than getting a like on a social media post. Psychologists say that need for approval can be addicting, fueling a mental health crisis, and our youth are paying the price. Now senators from both parties say it's time to stop it.
Our bill is a common sense, bipartisan approach to help to stop this suffering.
The Protecting Kids on Social Media Act would ban kids under 13 from having their own accounts and require parental consent for older teens to join.
They're too young to see a rated R movie. They're too young to be exposed to much of the content that is on social media.
The legislation takes aim at algorithms that use kids' personal information to feed them content that keeps them scrolling. The bill would require age verification measures beyond self-reporting methods. And for many of the parents of these young users, online predators are a major concern. Now, dozens of families who lost loved ones to drugs are suing the owner of Snapchat, accusing the company of enabling connections with dealers.
They would solicit him, and
he could get them delivered to the house as easily as he could get a pizza delivered.
Some states aren't waiting on Congress to curb social media use. Utah requires anyone under 18 to get parental consent to use platforms like TikTok. Still, a majority of teens say they are on social media at least once a day.
We as the parents have to set good examples for our children and talk to them about social media, monitor their content.
The Surgeon General already recommends that young teens stay away from social media. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll take a look at a unique mailbox and the unexpected items that were found in it. Imagine going to get your mail like any other day, but this time you don't find only papers inside, but some other tiny unexpected guests. A man in Michigan found a miniature couch with 2 wooden dolls sitting in it with a note reading, "We've decided to live here, Mary and Shelley." For context, this mailbox does look like a dollhouse. However, this wasn't a one-time encounter. Mary and Shelley really made themselves at home in the mailbox with a dog, rugs, and when seasons changed, even a Christmas tree. For another twist, after all this time, they still don't know who's the one who placed them inside. And that's our time for tonight, and thank you all so much for joining us. But before you go, I'll leave you with the video of a baby bear at a zoo in Poland. Be safe, and we'll do this all again. See you then.